Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mammy Geeks, where we're.
I can't with him. I can't. Just move your mouth. Just move your mouth. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Miami Geeks Weekly Updates, where we level up your gaming knowledge one podcast at a time. That's Punisher, and with him, as always, the old school gaming specialist, this old guy. Hi.
Hey,
It's good to
there he
see
is.
you. I haven't heard your voice all day.
I haven't heard mine either. It's been somewhere locked away, and I totally forgot everything I had to say.
I'm just surprised that you didn't start singing the Star Spangled Banner. Let's be honest.
It's just be there. I pledge allegiance to the flag. And
I can imagine him. I can imagine him holding Mike's Hard Lemonade, saying, "Oh Canada."
Oh my god. Oh Lord, my face hurts. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to another
That means
episode
we're
of Mammy
doing it
Geeks.
right.
Yeah, no, right? Welcome to another episode of Mammy Geeks, where we're going to be bringing a lot of things to you today because we have to talk today about everything that's going on with Nintendo and this whole thing with the pricing. Because, dude, this is getting a little serious, and I'm starting to hate the fact that the Nintendo has insisted that Mario Kart World justifies its shock of any price tight the $80 for the
My
freaking
dude,
game. What?
English, Emmer effort. Do you speak it?
Look, dude, it's a lot going on today. I'm sorry. Still, the fact that they're saying that they're justifying the fact that $80 is a perfectly reasonable price point for a $10 a hike on that game, it's no. Like, seriously, dude. And the thing is that I think Bowser came out and it's like saying,
No.
yeah, it is what it is. Did he say that?
It wasn't Doug Bowser. Which, let's talk about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Previously, the president of Nintendo of America was Reggie. We'll get your pizza to you in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. Fils-a-main. He used to work at Domino's. He used to work at Domino's. And he was everywhere. Like, seriously, you got to World 6 and Super Mario 3D World. And there's Reggie. Hi, you like my game? Ever since Doug Bowser was announced as the president, you ain't seen that white boy nowhere.
Nowhere. He's been missing, actually. Missing in action.
He is the most anonymous president to ever exist. He gets home and his wife calls the cops on him because she doesn't know who he is.
There's a lot of questions I got to tell you. There's sometimes, we never see him in the home at the same time, which is very true.
No. We also don't see him and Rock the Dwayne Johnson at the same time.
But there's questions, though.
And that's because Doug Bowser has taste. Anyway, to the story. After the Nintendo Switch 2, the Nintendo Direct on last Wednesday,
yeah,
a lot of people have had a lot of questions. Chief among them, why is Mario Kart World $80?
Yeah.
And mind you, there's still debate as to whether that's the digital only price and whether you have to pay $10 more for the physical, which I don't want to get into right now.
No. That's not.
Well, Nintendo had a series, has planned a series of, try the console out events around the country, around the world. They were in New York. Because, of course, it's New York. No one ever comes to Miami. And IGN caught up with them, and spoke to Nintendo of America's Vice President of Product and Player Experience. Man's name is Bill Trinan. I apologize if I messed up the name.
I don't.
And they asked him, why did you feel that you had to price this game at $80? Okay. This was before the whole tariff thing, which we will talk about,
Of
and
course.
their plans to postpone pre-orders because of said tariffs. His response, and I quote, I would say it's less about the strategy of pricing Mario Kart World. It's more just whenever we look at a given game, we just look at what is the experience and what's the content and what's the value. Mario Kart World, I think, especially as you see from the Nintendo Direct, not to give you any hints or anything, but I read your article this morning, and I think you had mentioned you didn't find a lot to discover when roaming around. So I would say tune into our Mario Kart Direct to see what maybe you'll be able to find out about that. But honestly, this is a game that is so big and so vast, and you will find so many little things in it to discover. And there's still some other secrets remaining that I think as people end up buying and playing the game, they're going to find this to be probably the richest Mario Kart experience they've ever had.
For $88.
Following me so far?
So
All
far,
right.
yeah.
What I would say is that we just look at each individual game and we look at the content and the value of that game, and then we say, what is the right price for the value of this entertainment?
Okay.
Well,
So then, so then, so we're gonna talk about every individual game, or can I bring up one at least?
oh, no. Mr. Trinan/Trinan, however you pronounce your last name,
Yeah.
we have questions. Please ask your question first.
Okay. Here's my question, because he values all these games and he's gonna be pricing them according to what they are. Why the hell is there a tutorial that's $10?
That's a good question. Because for those of you who missed it, the what I consider to be the pack-in game, the Nintendo Switch 2 World Welcome Tour, is a game that teaches you about the Nintendo Switch 2, both by, having you walk around and discover all the little things that it has, and by playing games that showcase the stuff that it does. We call those games pack-in titles, like
Yeah.
1-2 Switch, and Nintendo Land before that, and Wii Sports before that, and Luigi's Mansion before that.
Yes.
These are games that are supposed to highlight the features that your console has. And you usually would get that when you bought the console.
Like the PS4
So,
and PS5.
for the first
same.
time, since the Nintendo 64, no, since the GameCube, because you have to buy Luigi's Mansion separately. For the first time since the GameCube, there is a game that highlights all the things your console can do that does not come with the console. You are not getting any kind of software other than the operating system of the console with the purchase of the console. Now, for $10, what are we getting out of it?
Supposedly
There's value. There's value in the experience. There's value in the experience, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. What about the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour justifies $10? The fact that we can play golf with a mouse?
No,
Because I'm going to let you know.
That's what I'm thinking about. Why will they include that game with the system itself?
Because I'm going to let you know, PC owners have been playing golf with a mouse for a very long time. More importantly, you announced a lot of heavy hitters.
Yes.
In this Nintendo Direct. Chief among them, Donkey Kong Bonanza. The first 3D Donkey Kong since Donkey Kong 64.
Absolutely correct, yes.
In the year 2000. It looks like it's a very fun game, but it's $10 less than
I don't get that.
Mario Kart World. So are you telling me that Donkey Kong Bonanza is a great game, but it's $10 less of a great game than Mario Kart World?
I don't think so, man. I really don't.
But I'm saying they opened this door up. Oh, it's because of all the stuff the Mario Kart World has that we got to charge you $80.
That's
So now there's
dumb.
$10 less. There's $10 less stuff in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Oh, and by the way, the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games
Mhm.
are also $80.
Oh God.
Which I want to bring up something about that because we wondered about that on the last last episode we did.
Yeah.
How much the add-on, like the upgrade, is going to cost.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of both Legend of Zelda games, in the case of Kirby and the Forbidden Land, in the case of Mario Party Jamboree, I'm not sure about Metroid Prime 4 yet. The
Yeah.
upgrade is not just prettier graphics. It's essentially a DLC where they're adding to the game. You get an entirely new level, or at least entirely new world content in Kirby and the Forbidden Land.
Okay.
You get extra accessibility options in both Legend of Zelda games,
Uh-huh.
and you get an entirely new content in Mario Party Jamboree. So if you bought the game for $60, you're paying $20 for the upgrade, which is essentially DLC. It doesn't sound as bad.
All right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, for $20 more, and you're getting, I guess, more stuff out of it. I don't think that's a bad thing. I guess, but I'm still the whole $80 thing, man. That's still high. But then again, we have to think about back in the day where Super Nintendo games and stuff like that, like when they first came out. I mean, hell, we don't even have to go that far. Even Neo Geo games were pretty up there high as well. They're pretty expensive, and we actually you actually taught me a little bit about that, which I didn't believe it because of course I didn't have the money to buy me a Neo Geo, but I honestly didn't remember about Neo Geo, and I'm just kind of curious at the whole, this whole thing with Nintendo. Still, I still see the whole issue with the price point of all this, but
I want to argue with you
go
on
ahead,
both those points, though.
go ahead.
In the case of the Neo Geo was a luxury item. You were essentially getting a console that was an arcade machine,
Hmm.
literally, because the cartridges you got for the Neo Geo AES were about yay big,
They're
and
huge.
they were the exact carts that they would put in the cabinets,
Gotcha.
and they cost $200 each because you're buying an arcade board.
And I
So
still get that. It's true.
that one is a totally different market when you think about it.
All
Now,
right. How
in the
about
case of
the how about
in
the
the case
Philips
of
CDI and stuff though?
same difference, different market. The
Gotcha.
3DO and the Philips CDI and the Commodore CD64, CC32, sorry, were machines that did different things. They weren't about video games so much as interactive entertainment.
Hmm.
The buzzword back then was multimedia,
Oh yeah, I remember.
and those consoles did that. It wasn't until the Saturn and the PlayStation came about that the CD format was seen more as a video game format. It was seen before as a really cool looking library game. But yes, there were very expensive games during the era of the Super Nintendo. Number one, that was because the Super Nintendo was a very unique console.
Correct.
The things that they did with the games had little to do with the hardware on the console and had more to do with the console packed into the cartridge. The Super Nintendo had a lot of games that had special chips in it. The Super FX chip allowed you to play Star Fox. Capcom made special chips, please don't ask me what their names are right now, that let you play Street Fighter Alpha. They had special chips to do special functions to enhance the console. And that's why games like Donkey Kong Country and Killer Instinct were in the $80 range. But also think about $80 back then was a lot of money.
$80 back then was a whole lot of
A
money.
hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not all games sold at that price.
At all,
You
dude.
had to have
that was
a
high
special
price, dude.
You had to have a special super awesome reason to go and say, okay, we're going to charge $85, $88 for this game. What's happening now is they're trying to make it so that all games are $80.
I see.
$80 at a time when $80 doesn't go as far as it used to. In
That's technically a Taco Bell dinner.
1994, you can take your entire family to go see a movie and have a for real dinner afterwards, and you'd have change.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say with $80. That could have been even less than $50 to $60.
$100.
I remember.
You took a family of 4 to a movie and to actual dinner, and you had money left over.
Yeah.
Now you see the movie during the matinee. Don't nobody get thirsty, and maybe we can go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Maybe, big time.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue with there. That is absolutely true. The whole market with all that has just been garbage. Actually, dude.
And here is why it pisses me off so much.
Yeah. Now, being that you're pissed off, I want to ask you a question though.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
Yeah, because I want to lead you up to this part, and it has to do with the ESA saying that the tariffs will have a detrimental impact on the entire gaming industry, not just Nintendo. How do you feel about that statement right there from the ESA?
Okay. The ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, Entertainment Software Association, I believe.
Correct.
They're the trade group for the video game publishers. Entertainment Software Association. So basically, they're a lobbying group that tries to get people to try to convince people. No. You really do want to spend this much money. It's perfectly fine. They're worried about tariffs, just like all of us are. But whereas we're worried about, oh no, how much is soap gonna cost? They're worried about, oh no, how is this going to cut into our profits? IGN interviewed ESA spokesman Aubrey Quinn. Okay. She calls what happened with the Nintendo Switch 2 pricing, followed by the tariff announcements, just unfortunate coincidental timing. Quote, it's been interesting with media coverage around video games and tariffs because just unfortunate coincidental timing that the Switch 2 reveal was the same day as President Trump's announcement. There are so many devices we play video games on. There are other consoles, but as I was saying, VR headsets, our smartphones, people who love PC games. We think it's just a Switch, and we aren't taking it seriously. This is going to have an impact. Okay. To be fair, this is going to have a huge impact. So 2 of the countries that got hit the hardest are Vietnam and Japan. The 2 countries that most Switch hardware and software come from. Vietnam got hit with 49% tariffs. Japan got hit with 24% tariffs.
Okay.
Not to count the 54% tariffs from China, where all the chips come from nowadays. So, yes, there's a possibility that prices are going to rise very soon. To their benefit, Nintendo was reported to have imported in about 350,000 Switch 2 consoles in January to the U.S. And there's word that they've been sneaking in more and more before the tariff announcements. So it might not hit Switch 2 pricing for those of you that want to get it, when it comes out.
Okay.
But it's going to affect in the long term. The longer this goes on, the more likely you're going to be paying 20 to 40% more for the games that you want. The reason that I have this problem with the ESA saying it is because they don't care about what we have to pay in regards to, oh, that's too expensive for the consumer. They're worried about how much we have to pay because they wanted to charge that to us first. I said this last month. Remember, everyone's looking to Rockstar to see how they price GTA 6. Because every company and their mother is going to make that the benchmark. So if they charge $100 for a game, Hello Kitty Island Adventure is going to cost you $100. Problem number one is that Nintendo jumped in first and said, no, $80. So they set the market before Rockstar did.
Gotcha.
And number two, now whatever is announced, you got to start wondering if tariffs are going to be added. So maybe that $100 copy of GTA 6 is going to cost you $130, $140.
I mean, we just gotta see now.
This is what I'm saying. Right now, there's a level of thinking in the gaming industry that the prices of games have to go up. They have to. Games are too expensive. It's too much to market them. It's inflation has been going up forever, and games have never caught up. Rockstar is reported to have spent $2 billion with a B.
Wow.
For the development of GTA 6. If they charge $100 for the game and said, oh no, because development is too expensive, who in the name of George P. Clinton told you to spend $2 billion to make the goddamn game?
You're not wrong.
It didn't even have to be $1 billion. You knew the game was going to sell. You threw all that money into it. If you don't get that money back, that's because you're stupid. You didn't have to spend $2 billion.
No, at all.
That's something that people don't notice. Yes, it's expensive to make games. It is not easy to make games. If games were easy to make, you and I can make them.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. But it's just to let you know.
But it's not that difficult. They have all these bunch of tools. Capcom has their RE engine. EA has Frostbite. A lot of people just use Unity or a Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Or the Cry engine. There are tools that make it easier to make games. You want to throw 500 people at it? Oh, you got to pay 500 people for it. Did we ask you to spend money to have 500 people while working on this game? I don't recall ever asking you for that.
I didn't sign no paper.
All I want for GTA 6 is a cool game where I get to run around Vice City, shooting people, having sex, and maybe play with alligators.
I'm okay with that. And not
you don't need to
because
you don't. I mean, well, you know, I got fucking cold cocked by a Bruce Leroy in that Vice City play. But what I'm saying is, you don't need to spend $2 billion to do that.
You're not wrong. It's true.
And then you're going to use the excuse that you spent $2 billion for why the game costs $100 at launch. I decided after the Switch 2 announcement, the direct, and all the information I've heard about it since, I have decided that I am done buying new gen games at launch or at full price. I will not buy a new goddamn game unless it goes on sale. I will not pre-order a game. I don't pre-order games anyway, but I'm absolutely not going to pre-order a game. Whatever I buy is going to be used. I'm the only person who's going to do it. They don't give a shit. They don't care about Willy. Uncle Willy doesn't want to buy our games. That's all right. Punisher will. But I refuse. This hobby right here that I have of buying, collecting, and playing games is expensive.
Very.
I know it's expensive. I apportion my earnings, my money appropriately. I still got to pay rent. I still got to buy food. My children have this annoying need of every once in a while needing my help. My car doesn't run on hopes and dreams. I tried once. It didn't work.
It didn't go
So I know
forward.
I got a portion. I got a portion. It's called discretionary spending. You buy things that you like after you buy the things that you want. I'm not going to
Yeah.
be able to afford the things that I like anymore unless I buy them used. So I decided I already completed PS3. Now I want PS4.
There we go. And that's gonna
I
be a
gotta
good
get a
mission because I
PS5.
can't wait.
I gotta get a PS5 eventually because I just freaking have to.
Hmm.
But I'm not buying any new PS5 games. I'm not buying any Nintendo games. I want you to know that there's an emulator out there. It's called Yuzu. I'm not going to tell you where to get it because I don't want Nintendo knocking on my door and threatening to kill my nephew. But there is a Switch emulator called Yuzu where I can play any Switch game that exists. The ones I like, I'll buy used.
Yeah.
Oh, because, you want to enjoy this game, don't you? Not at your price.
Hmm.
What say ye?
Well, what I say is I'm just gonna wait to see what happens. Might be good, might be bad. I just wait. Either way, they're not gonna get a dime out of me until I want to give them the dime that I want to give them. Whatever game that catches my interest is the game I'm gonna buy. I wish I could go. I'm gonna buy every game and test it out and put it here on the show because I want to, and I got endless pockets, but I can't. All I can do right now, like any civilized person, technically, is buy the system that comes with it, that has a game included, play it, save my money for other things until I see something that catches my interest and makes me want to buy that one game or two. But other than that,
Or,
they're not gonna get that much of a dime out of me. Hell,
or
PlayStation 5 has been out for a while, and I really haven't bought anything for the PS5 except maybe a couple games here and there, and that's it. And
Astro
not
Boy.
even like, huh?
Astro Boy.
Yeah, I love Astro Boy.
Oh, it was a good game, though.
It's still a good game, especially with all the updates and everything on the PlayStation 4 when it came with it. On the PlayStation 5 when it dropped, I was like, yeah, this is actually a really good game. And I got God of War. And then I also did the whole Capcom thing, which I should have paid attention because I bought it 2 times and got it for free.
No,
It was a Capcom?
that was Kawabunga Collection.
That. Ah. Either way, I have it twice, 3 times because reasons. But still, I'm not going to spend a dime because I'm just going to hold off. Again, I'm a gamer, but I'm not that type of gamer. I like to save my money. I like to do things. I like to go out. I like to, like pretty much like you. I have bills. I got a cell phone. I got a family. I got a house. I got things I gotta pay. I'm still fixing my car for God's sakes. And there's other things that I could pretty much say that are more important than, you know what, I'm gonna spend almost $500 on a system when I can be like, you know what, I can spend $500 on other things. But being that I could buy this when it's gonna drop, I can do pre-order sales, and couple dollars here, couple dollars there. I can actually squeeze a little bit out of it and buy myself that system slowly instead of just getting a whole wad of cash and going, here, give me the system now, and then cry about it for another 2 weeks until I get paid.
There's like for those of you who like playing games,
Mm-hmm.
none of those of you who like playing PlayStation games or Nintendo games. There's a lot of ways for you to play games. Go to a
Yeah.
thrift store, buy one of those cheap ass Dell Optiplex PCs, put a decent graphics card in it. You can play a lot of PC games.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like me and you're a tinker, you could do this.
Oh, the leapfrog, the leapster.
Yeah, I gotta do a tutorial on this because this was a pain in the ass to do. But you can find old hardware and you can repurpose it to play games. You don't gotta sit there and just say, well, I guess if I were to play a game, only Nintendo and Sony and Xbox are gonna be able to. No. There are a lot of games out there. There's a lot of gaming out there. Used gaming is still very good. Like
Very.
you'd be surprised how many really good Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games that you have never heard of exist.
Yeah.
And there's always the classics.
Always. But that's going to be something that we'll talk about another time, and also leave it up to you guys to talk about it and maybe comment down below for us. But before we end this podcast, there is something I want to bring up. I did show a little bit of it on one of our talks about Donkey Kong and whatnot, Willie, and it's the fact that it is an article you showed me, which I kind of find it funny, and I didn't notice this until you showed it to me properly, that Donkey Kong Bonanza League throws I want to say it because I want to, a monkey wrench into Donkey Kong's timeline. And Willie, yeah, it is proper. I had to put the monkey wrench. It's not going to be
okay. All right.
wrench. I put monkey wrench.
Folks, look at this picture right here.
Look,
okay,
I want you to look at
Donkey Kong. He's smashing the ground. That little blue rock right there. You saw him right during the trailer. His name is evidently Odd Rock, and he's supposed to be your companion.
Yes.
Well, in South Korea, they put a different picture, and I think it's funny. Please show that picture.
Right there.
You'll see that Odd Rock's not there, but someone else
here.
is. You see who that is? Here. Do you know who that is? That's baby Pauline.
Right there.
Pauline. Those of you that are more recent know her from Super Mario Odyssey, but Pauline is the original damsel in distress in the original Donkey Kong game when Mario was called Jumpman.
Yes.
And supposedly, she is going to be a companion in the game. That was supposed to be a surprise. South Korea messed it up.
Surprise.
Surprise.
But either way, guys, besides that story, I think everything here was just pretty much fun to talk about. And like we always say, we're kind of curious on what you guys have to think about. From everything we talked about from above and below, please comment down below. Let us know what you thought. Let's have a conversation about this. But yes, we are done. And thank you very much for joining us today on this amazing show. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button just so we come up with this amazing news, which is 3 times a week. Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday, and a little something in between. Willie, any last words?
I'm this close to 200 PS4 games. It begins.
Right there.
It begins.
Amen. But all right, guys.
So what I'm saying is, if y'all want to sell me your PS4 games, give me a call.
Yeah, he'll buy. But guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you Wednesday. Peace.
Bye.